Hello everybody and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 on PSVR2, but today's video isn't just for PSVR2, it's for any sort of racing on GT7, and that is because we're checking out the Race Engineer. This comes to us in the form of an app called Victory Dash, which you can install on the iOS and Google or Android App Store, and we did look at one of these a little while ago called SVR, I think it was, like there's an SVR Racing League and there's an AI Race Engineer there, but this one is on iOS, which is the reason that I'm jumping in to test it out, and essentially it allows you to look through your laps after the race, which is a feature that's coming to GT7 on its own later this year in about like a week and a half with the data viewer, but it lets you do it now on the app for free. And it also gives you a little AI engineer that talks to you throughout your lap. So we're going to be testing that out today, thanks to our patrons and members. They're all on screen right now, and let's set this thing up, shall we? We're going to go with the McLaren MP4, I think, and I think we'll jump into Spa. And essentially, it gives you a full view as well. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's get this thing set up. Okay, so I've got it set up on my phone here. So as you can see, we've got my previous lap, which was around Spa in the other Super Formula car, the actual Super Formula car, should I say. And this, you can see my telemetry here, my braking, my acceleration, my speed. And here, as soon as I set up another session, I'll be able to expand this and get this kind of overall view of everything, really, which is really cool. So you could actually race in the flat screen, not on VR, and have all of this on like its own little dash, if that makes sense, which wasn't really a thing before with GT7. So you can have your own little race viewer. You've got different engineers. You've got a professional one, a foul, loudmouth one, a chill one, and a calming one. These are all AI, which I'm not really like the biggest fan of. I prefer recorded voice lines, but I imagine this is a very small team, so fair enough. Now I'm gonna have to blur some of this because I don't know what's sensitive information or not, but essentially here in the settings menu you can connect it, which basically you just put your PS5 onto your Wi-Fi, your phone onto your Wi-Fi, make sure they're on the same connection, load up Gran Turismo and hit connect, and it just connects for you, or you can type in your IP address for your PlayStation manually. And then below you can choose your speed unit, your username, and your race engineer, depending on what you want it to tell you, basically. So if you want it to tell you what position you're in, your lap summaries, your fuel warnings, your tyre temps, and your driving technique. So we're going to jump in. We're going to see if we can get a session going here. And we're just going to go into essentially a morning session on Spa. And here we are.
Rear end is sliding.
And as you can see in the bottom right, these are my stats. So obviously I get my a lot of my stats here anyway, through the HUD and everything, but if you wanted to turn the HUD off, you could have the
stay calm and execute your plan.
The engineer speaking to me there. You could have all of that come through on the app instead. So let's get a lap in, and then they'll tell us what position we're in, which will be first, because we're the only car on track. But we should be able to have a look through our telemetry afterwards as well, which is super, super cool. Bit of an awful line through there, but that's alright. Cool thing is, it'll tell you when kind of the back end's sliding as well. Alright, here we go. Up to Pouron. That's where Iris sat for the race this year at Spa, on the right there. I say that every time we come here on Spa in the sim, but I have to. But I think there are only two apps that really do this, and the SVR one, which we mentioned quite a while ago, it feels like now, I think is still Android only. I can't seem to find it on the App Store, unless it is there, in which case, my mistake. But this one is iOS compatible, which is really cool. Oh god, terrible missed my braking point there.
Losing rear end, counter steer gently and reduce throttle.
Yeah, it's telling me to counter steer and reduce throttle there with rear end. Like, we should cross the line.
Lap 1 completed.
There we go.
You're in P1.
So if I was in an actual race, if I didn't have my HUD on, it would tell me what position I'm in. I think both online and in single player, I guess, which is really cool. So let's boot up a race then, and let's see what updates it gives me there in terms of gaps to other cars and stuff like that. And we'll have a look after these sessions through some of the data and see what it's telling us there in post. So for now, let's jump in and do this. Don't know where I'll be lining up. I think it was like 11th or something. Here we go. Rolling start, of course, which is a bit rough, but
you've lost 10 positions, but you can get them back.
Okay, it's just told me I've lost 10 positions.
Trust your instincts and drive with confidence.
Okay, it's just told me I've lost 10 positions, but that's not entirely true. I just started in P11. A bit of a weird one. I did just lose 2 positions on the start there. Almost contact with the Alpine.
You're P12 right now.
Okay, thank you, race engineer.
Tyre temperatures are critical at 101 degrees.
Tyre temps are too high. This is only something that I noticed when pausing this in post and actually looking over the data. You can see on the accurate data on the screen, my tyre temps are like 67 degrees. That is fine. I don't know what the AI is waffling about. It kept bringing up my tyre temps were too high, even though they were fine, even towards the end of the race. So I don't know what's going on there. That's the only real bug in this whole thing. Not Lyco already though. Oh, bit of contact there. Not like the real Ferrari. I'm not heading into Lyco. It's not happening. Will it tell me that I've made up a position there? Let's see.
You're sitting in P11.
Nice. I don't think Sophie's on its hardest, to be fair, so I should be racking up positions, hopefully, but...
Fantastic, moved up 2 positions.
Nice 2 positions there, so it doesn't just do it position by position, it can count that I've made up 2. There you go, a bit of...
Back end braking loose.
Yeah, my back end was loose there.
Steer into the slope.
But that's because of a collision with the Williams.
You're holding P10.
Down into P10. It's quite frequent updates then. I was expecting it to be quite sporadic, but every time something changes it seems to yell at me, which is good.
Fantastic, moved up 2 positions.
Right, we'll get another position here on the Haas.
Lap 1 completed. You're in P7. 7 laps remaining.
Tells me laps remaining as well, that's cool. I would say though, like, for hot laps, this isn't really that useful because it doesn't really give you much information on where you're sliding and how to improve your corners. It just kind of tells you, oh, counter steer gently and let off the throttle to reduce sliding, which is true, but it would be nice if it was like, here, reduce entry speed by this much, or maybe, you know, apply brakes 10 meters earlier or later or something. A bit like Trophy AI for iRacing does. But unfortunately, I don't think that level of telemetry is possible to be shared with an app on GT7, so this is kind of the best we got. But it is pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. I like the fact that he's kind of speaking at me, you know.
Lap 2 done. Running in P3. 6 laps to finish.
6 laps to go. Thanks for that, AI. Alright, let's get in P1.
Tyre temperatures are critical at 100 degrees.
Yes. I know about my tyre temps. Let's get into P1 and then let's...
Fantastic. You're in first position and absolutely dominating this race.
Oh, that's nice. Hasn't given me any gaps. It said on the app that it would give me gaps to other drivers, but I don't think it has. A bit of a wobble there on entry. I took too much speed. Let's see if that shows up in the telemetry afterwards.
Tyre temperatures are critical at 100 degrees.
This is going to be quite cool for the full race weekends as well, when that comes in with the power pack, because you'll be able to have this AI talking to you through practice, you know, and quali, telling you what your gaps to your times are. Obviously, you do have your times on your dash, or you should at least, in the game, so you'll be able to kind of see. But if you want to turn all your HUD off and you want to keep in the loop of how you're doing with your laps, like a real driver would, then there you go. You got your AI to kind of speak to you per lap, which I think will be really sick. I'm really looking forward to the power pack DLC. That's going to be amazing, I think. Okay, we'll call it a day there. Let's go review some of the telemetry from this race, I guess. Okay, hopping into post-production here, we can take a look at our session. It doesn't show other cars on track, only us, so it's kind of useful for quali laps, I would say this. But then again, the data viewer is actually coming to Gran Turismo in the Spec 3 update, along with Power Pack in like 2 weeks' time, so I don't know how outdated this will become, but the telemetry is cool to see nonetheless with throttle application and stuff like that. I have been noticing between corners there are slight patches of orange where brakes are being applied. I know for a fact this wasn't me because I had my foot off the brake throughout most of these corners just to make sure. After seeing this in some of the earlier tests of telemetry that I did, it might be traction control like kicking in when I'm going through some corners, because I do have traction control on 2 for the Super Formula cars for this race. So there is a little bit of that there. You can see that. Awesome that you can actually toggle on the rest of these as well, so you can actually add in your RPM and your speed along with your throttle and brake application. Super, super cool. It isn't that detailed through the corners though, where you can see kind of like the tilt and angle of the car. You can only see your lines. So for example, in that last lap, I had a little bit of a moment coming through the chicane up before the second to last straight, or I say the last straight before you get onto the pit straight. And that was quite a big snap, it felt like, in the car in terms of rotation. Like the back end kicked out, but you can't really see it on the data. Interesting to see whether or not the actual data view that we get in GT7 allows us to see stuff like that, or whether it will be similar to this. But either way, this is super, super cool. Brake application and throttle application and actual racing lines. I can see where the gaps are in terms of where I'm not using the most of the track. That's awesome. And the fact this app is free as well. Go pick it up, give it a review, give it a download. This is super, super cool. They've done it before Polyphony have, which is kind of crazy. And yeah, it's free. You can go and pick it up for yourself. So thank you so much for watching. This has been a really cool experiment to test this out. And I think I'll be using this to keep track of some of my laps in the future. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.